Okay guys, it's going to be a short video today. Today is the beginning of day 22. There's been some developments this week. We got a lot of sun this week, a lot of heat, and I found out how the sun works with nutrients. I started seeing some nutrient burn come in on some of these plants, and I asked Esco about it, and my suspicions were true by what he told me, that when the sun comes out and starts beating down even heavier, then this causes the plants to go into overdrive. They take up more nutrients, and this causes them to burn. I didn't change anything in the recipe. The simple fact was that the climate itself changed, and I did not adjust fast enough. And that's how fast this system works, how it reacts. This is a system that you absolutely must be light on the newts, whether it's sunlight, whether it's HPS, whether it's ceramic metal halide, whether it's LED. The only difference is that with artificial lighting, it is probably a little bit easier to maintain control because it's more steady. You don't have clouds, popping in and out. You don't have overcast days. It's much more even and easier to control, I believe. But outside, you must be very light with these nutrients, because this is it will burn them, and I will show you some of the damage that's happened. As you can see, the plants are shooting up through the netting really well. They've grown a lot since you guys saw them last week. It's time to start tying them to the cages, and I've got us, now that I've lowered the newts down, it's time to start letting them grow a little bit and build some flowers and whatnot. Cucumbers are doing okay. The green zucchini squash is doing excellent. I mean, it's thriving as well as it can. Here's aroma tomato that got a little bit of burn on it, as you can see, just on the edges, but it did take some burn. The same with, you see the lower parts of this cherry tomato plant, and ironically, the moment that I turned back the nutrients, the cherry plant exploded in growth. So, I mean, that just goes to show, if you're feeding it too much, the plant cannot perform at all. Another aroma over here, and you see that the new growth has no burn at all, and the lower growth, of course, does. Actually, the middle growth, because it actually happened in the middle of the plant. So, there's still some lower leaves that have got some burn on them and whatnot, but they're coming through. The big boys, again, the new leaves are showing no burn at all, and they are also, as you can see, coming up through the screen and about to be tied off. I guess I'm going to start doing that tomorrow. Here we go. The jalapeno. This is what happens. I'm almost certain that I killed this plant. I am almost certain that it is going to die, but we're going to see. But this is what happens when the overfeed happens. This is nothing but nutrient burn. But now again, with the green pepper, it's not quite as severe. You will notice that there's absolutely no burning sign on the yellow zucchini squash. Each plant takes up different newts in different ways, and like I said, when you get shade at sometimes and overcast days, the plants react differently. They are going to live the way that they're meant to live, and it just so happens that some of these plants are stronger than others. The jalapeno pepper is a plant that I do not believe can uptake a lot of nutrients. It is something that you must be light. I would never recommend to put all of these, to put a bunch of different plants into rails to begin with. For me, it was an experiment just to see if I could learn how to use the aeroponic system, and that's what I've been trying to teach myself, and I've been making mistakes and learning along the way. And so far, I've been fortunate enough to recover quickly enough to where I haven't killed everything yet. And I'm actually, to me, it's a complete success simply because I've been able to keep these plants alive for 22 days. To me, that's a success in its own. Well, the reservoir, as you can see, there's a little bit of dirt still getting filtered out down in there. It's actually time to start the movement. During the day, I've been pulling the timer off, and I've been running this thing continuously because of the heat. I did have another pump stuck in there, and it brought the heat up so high that I couldn't control it. So I dumped it, and what I've been doing is that every morning I've been coming out and unplugging the timer and running this thing almost like a DWC during the day. And it's actually been it's run fairly well this way, because the roots have been getting more water, the plants have been getting more water, and once I made the adjustments on the nutrients and whatnot, they began to grow and thrive again. As you can see, this is the kind of flow that I've got coming out of this monster here. It throws a really nice flow out. It's really doing the job as far as I'm concerned. I'm really proud of it, and it's been a new experience for me, and I'm glad that I decided to do this. It's been a pain in the ass, but it's been a learning experience. In the end, what my goal is now is to get some more growth out of this thing, and to begin to keep my flowers without flower drops, because if the flowers start dropping, then it will not bear any fruit. So that will be my next goal. I will have to make adjustments to this thing to allow the flowers to stay on the plants so that they can be pollinated, and then in turn, of course, they will start bearing fruit, and at some point they'll either they'll stop growing halfway through the flower, because I mean, I know you've seen fruits and vegetables that have got the piece of the flower still on the end of it, because it didn't complete itself to maturation. But hopefully we're not going to have that problem. Well, this is Tib. This is day 21, and I will see you next week.